What's up guys, it's your boy, Mad Mike. If you're new to the channel, we recently picked up a Ferrari replica. It's a kit car based on a 1985 Pontiac Fiero GT. We're currently rebuilding it, so make sure to stay tuned and check out the vlogs. So guys, on today's episode, I finally am going to install the new alternator. I ran into a little bit of a dilemma. The old alternator has the grooves for the belt. The new alternator came with a V-groove style pulley. So what I had to do, I was able to crack this one here loose by hand, but this one here, I had to let it soak overnight with some penetrating fluid, bring it into the shop and use an air impact in order to get that nut off. But now that we got that nut free, I can go ahead, clean up this old pulley, and mount it to the new one. So let's go ahead, clean up all the parts, and install it into the car. Alright, so we got our new alternator, our new belt, our bolts are all cleaned up. Let's go ahead and install it into the car. So underneath the car, if you look up here, I was able to get the alternator put into place. The lower bolt is back on. This is your tensioner area in here. I got the belt on, so let's go ahead, do up the top bolt. We'll get out the tension. We'll clean up our connections, make sure that our connections are good. Reconnect our two electrical points, and the alternator is going to be reinstalled and done. You can see where the new belt is going around down here, and it's hard to see, but your alternator is tucked away back in here, and that's where the upper bolt is. Alright, so this is the upper bolt. It's a fairly long one, so let's go ahead, tighten that one up, and then we'll go down low and do up the tensioner bolt once we pull the tension out of the belt. For some reason, my heat shield is getting in the way of my bolt. Not sure why, but let's go ahead and try to jam the socket in there and make sure that the heat shield's on correctly too. Well guys, got the upper bolt on, I got the lower bolt on, I got the new belt on. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull the tension out of the belt and secure down that last bolt. I'm not too sure how much tension you want, but I'm gonna stick my low bar in here and just wedge it a bit to get all the slack out. Okay, I think I got all the tension out of the line. Things are looking good. Belt is snug. Let's go ahead, do up our electrical connections, and go from there. Alright, so guys, we're looking at our two electrical connections. We got one up here underneath the boot cover with a 10mm bolt. The second one is just a 2-prong clip, and I've already gone ahead and cleaned it out with some electrical cleaner. So let's go ahead, plug these in, make sure we got a good connection. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but make sure you disconnect your battery before you do any of this. Getting a bunch of dirt in my eyes, kind of awkward underneath the car. Get the boot cover back on. Keep all the water out. dirt and crud. All right, alternator is done, installed. Alright guys, so we're all done. We got the new belt and the new alternator installed. It's starting to get dark outside, so let's go ahead and decrease the brakes with some brake clean, and then we'll try firing up the car to make sure that the belt tension is good and the alternator is charging. Then once the wheels are back on, we can pull it out and move the car freely. Alright, let's do it. Well guys, I picked up some brake clean. I was able to break my rotors loose. The other day, I couldn't even move my brakes with a pry bar and my foot, and now they move freely. So I'm just gonna go ahead, spray some brake clean all over my rotors and calipers, and degrease everything. Alright guys, we got all the brakes cleaned. They're all moving freely. Alternator and belt is in. So before we put all the wheels back on and lower it off the jack stands, let's try to fire up the car and we'll have a look at the alternator, make sure the belt tension looks good, and if everything checks out good, we'll get the tires on and we'll move this out of the carport. So let's go ahead, hook up the battery, fire it up. Alright guys, so I got the battery all hooked back up, and the first thing I want to do is check with my multimeter to see what my battery level is at now, and then once I fire up the car, it should jump up. I should have like 13.5 to 14.2, and right now your charged battery should be at like 12.4 to 12.6. Positive and negative. Going to positive here, 12.45. Alright, so my battery is fully charged. When the car is running, that should jump up to like 13.5 to 14.2. Check to see what the battery has while running. Nice. Alternator's working. It's charging the battery. 14.65. Belt's looking good. Running way better. Nice, boys. Interior lights are working. It's got a high idle. Wow, it's running way better. Nice, boys. Progress. Alright guys, well that was a successful day. We got the alternator back in, the new belt on. It fires up and runs. It runs a lot better too now that it's charging the battery. And tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and slam on all 4 wheels and pull it out of the carport. We'll catch you guys later. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time. Ciao, ciao.